Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hope you can hear me clearly. I'm here. It was supposed to be snowing. It is not, although it is very cold. We're getting closer and closer to Christmas time, and the atmosphere is getting lighter and happier and livelier as usual, getting closer to Christmas time. Okay, I'll just be waiting for a few moments to see if someone is coming here to keep me company, to follow up into this journey into the 7 Essenes mirrors. As I said previously, the 7 Essenes mirrors are an initiatory journey, and they are very, very deep, very profound, and it's not easy to totally understand them. They really say many, many things, and if we are able to apply what they teach, we really get some important help out of them. So let's see if somebody's coming up to keep me company tonight for the last 2 Essenes mirrors. Maybe some of you know that I started to speak about this journey a few weeks ago, and now I am talking again about the 7 Essenes mirrors. We are ending up with the last 2 ones. So let's see who is connected. Okay, I see that there are 3 or 4 people that the connections are starting. Great, that's good. Welcome here tonight with me to speak about the Essenes mirrors. And so, we've been speaking about the first one. So I'll take some time so all the others can connect. The first one is about the people I have relationships with in my life now, friendships, the people I'm acquaintance to. They reflect myself. They reflect the way I am. And it's very hard to acknowledge that, actually, to become aware of the fact that people actually are very similar to us, and what we point out to them, to their attention, making them believe it is a defect of their behavior, is actually something that also we own. We own the same behavior, we own the same quality. Let's just start over about what the 7 Essenes mirrors stand for. The 7 Essenes mirrors categorize 7 different types of relationships that we can have with people in our life, and they are all relationships that we go through at some time. And when we get to live one of those mirrors, it is because we have been separating from our soul. If we keep focused on our soul and we project our purpose, our soul purpose in our life, then we might not experience the mirrors. But that might very, very rarely happen, because we're human and we came here on earth to experiment difficulties and separation. So we do separate from our soul because of many things that happen in our life. And the 7 as mirrors help us put ourselves back together in order to become the one and the whole that we are supposed, all of us, to become at the end of our evolution, at the end of our journey. So anytime we get to see one mirror, our soul split. And we have to go back and collect a part of ourselves and rejoin that part to ourselves. As I've been speaking about the first mirror, the second mirror speaks about how we judge and why we judge. And I don't know if some of you have followed me so far, but the second mirror says that we judge according to the fact that we feel we have been betrayed by something, and we think we cannot live without that. So we criticize in order, depending, according to an emotional charge that stands within ourselves. For example, if I'm a very honest person and I stand saying that proudly, I might find a lot of dishonest persons around me because I have to focus myself. What happens wants to point to my attention that I have an emotional charge on the way I feel honest. I should be normally honest. The third Essence mirror speaks about the people we fall in love with, mostly when we feel love at first sight. And usually we fall in love with those people that represent some qualities, some behaviors we cannot allow to ourselves, or we have lost in our life. So actually we fall in love with a part of ourselves. The fifth mirror, this is what we spoke about last Tuesday, speaks about us when we go through an addiction. An addiction might be not just a drug addiction, but smoking, food, chocolate, any sort of addiction means that we are also workaholic. You know, people that are workaholic people, they have an addiction to work that is not safe for them. They should watch out from that. When people have an addiction, they are focusing onto something and they are going to miss all the other aspects of their life. And that because they feel they have a void inside, and they fill that void with that thing, and they think that without that thing they wouldn't be able to survive. They will be probably missing lots of things to find out that actually they have to change. And I also been speaking about the fact that many times when we are in a sort of addiction, we also break our aura, and so some negative entities can get through those holes, and they really pierce our aura. And so some entities can connect to us, and they suck our energy. They suck our energy, and we have lots of difficulties to get over our addiction because of them, because they get nourishment from our energy, and they don't want us to stop being addicted. Otherwise, there's no nourishment for them anymore. The last Essence mirrors we've been speaking is about our parents. We cannot be free as long as we consider our parents as our mother and as our father. They are just the people that allowed us to come here on earth, but they are human beings as well as us. So we have to consider them just as human beings on their path, on their evolution path. And also that mirror has a lot to do with the importance of roles. We have roles. Our parents have roles towards their kids. We have roles towards the others. But anytime we place things into persons, into roles, we put a label onto them. And mostly we think because of their roles, we have to behave in one way or another. And that is what leads us to worship things out of ourselves. Idols have been made because that way, when we pray an idol, we think that it can do something we cannot. Actually, we have to go back to the God inside ourselves. We are always the reason of our life, and we can always change it. God is inside us. We don't have to worship something out of ourselves. But if we believe in the roles, then we think the idol has a role. And we belong to it. As we belong to our parents, as long as we consider them as parents and not just as people, because they have the role of being parents. So, and this was the fifth mirror. Tonight, we are going to be speaking about the 6 and 7 mirrors. So we are going to finish up speaking about the Essenes mirrors. Are you ready to go through the last two? Okay, let's speak about the 6th Essenes mirrors. That was also called the mirror of the dark night of our soul. It means that sometimes, that happens to any one of us, our soul went through very hard times when we lost everything, and the greed and the sufferings was very deep. That happens when we go too much away from ourself, from our soul projection. So we miss the important things for us and for our evolution. So we feel in danger, but we need to feel in danger, because when we are in that situation, we have to recall all our resources, all our talents. We really show the best parts of us. We show actually what we can do to rise up. So the challenge is, we have to learn to rise up, and we have to show what we really are and what we really stand here for. Life never gives us problems bigger than what we can fulfill. So anything we face in life, we can go through it and we can get over it. So we have to remember that when we face the dark night of the soul, which is the meaning of the 6th Essenes mirrors, that happens because we were going towards the wrong direction. Mostly we were thinking maybe of having something materially, or a position, a role, that actually was not what our soul wanted. If we want something that belongs to our brain, belongs to our culture, belongs to our expectation, belongs to the expectation the others set on us, that is going to be destroyed. We are going to lose it. That happens because the only things that might be stable and keep being still and standing in our life are always a projection of what we feel, and then we act. I feel and then I act. Instead, if I think that I want to have and then I act to have, that is something that is going to be failed and missed. Instead, if I feel and I act, I'm going to achieve something that really belongs to me, to my soul. I become part of that. That is something that belongs to me, to my real me. And that is going to be still in my life. I will be having that and holding that for the rest of my life. So anything that happens to us happens according to how we feel. Many times we do things in order to have, like for example, we want to earn more money, so we experience going to the grocery store where they have cheaper food. We go to the gas station where gas is cheaper than others, and we try to earn some money that way. And then maybe one day we succeeding in putting apart like 95 euros, and then something happens, like something breaks in our car, and we have to pay for that amount. Why? Because we are not thinking of being, but we are thinking of having. Some of you might not like what I say, because some of you might say, but we need things around us to go around. Yes, of course we do, but we're going to have them only when we are focused on, this is what I feel and this is what I'm going to do. I experienced very deeply in my life the dark night of the soul. Because when I was 45, 10 years ago, I lost everything. Because of a disease, I lost my job. I had to live on what I had in my bank account for a year. They found out the reason of my illness quite late, because I had quite a rare disease. It's not really a disease. I had not a virus, sort of an amoeba, much worse than an amoeba, a protozoa. And in Italy there is one case in a year of that. That was me. And so I was in bed. I couldn't stand up. I needed to be fed. I couldn't work. And I had just changed my job. I left from the previous employment. I had to be engaged in a new one, and I fell sick right between the two of them. So I had no social securities, no social helps, because I was not laid off by the previous job, because it was me that quit, and I had not been employed yet from the new one. So I was completely laid off by life, actually. And it took me a year to recover. I ran out of money completely, and I really had nothing. And you know what? That was quite a lesson for me, because when you don't have anything anymore, you don't have anything to lose anymore, then you really try out. You really try hard for what you think is right for you. So I think, and I feel very blessed for that experience. I was worried, of course, because I had to pay the rent, I have to pay the bills, I have a son, I'm on my own. But I really wanted to do what was important to me, to my soul. So I started to be a holistic operator. I started my dancing, I do the dance of the soul. And I started just going around, and if I think of that now, I say, how did I do that? I'm not a well-known person. I'm not famous. And I started something completely new that is called the dance of the soul, as you know. And if I think of the way I did it, I was just in a sort of a flow. I just went everywhere saying, I want to do this. I made some leaflet, I left them around. I went here and there trying to find the right places to do my dancings. And it took me a while, but within 3 years, I already evened up my bills. And I started to gain some money. Because that was really a projection of my soul. Really projection of my soul. So when we go through the 6-7 mirrors, it's because we have to think of what happens is that we think, what has betrayed me? Why has life betrayed me so that I find myself in this situation? Actually, it's not life that betrayed us, but we betrayed ourselves. We have to take over the responsibility of our actions all the time. If that happens, is that we haven't been on the right path. We haven't been coherent with us anymore. So we don't focus the real goal that our soul wants to achieve. We have to change our attitude, our way of thinking. We have to, when we are on the right path, things are easy. Do you remember when we spoke about the last mirror, the fifth mirror, the fourth mirror about addictions and workaholic, for example? Why are people workaholic? Because they want to gain money, yes, but also because we've been told and taught that we have to suffer in our life in order to achieve something and to deserve it. And this is so negative and so false. It's so untrue. Whenever there is a teaching, a philosophy, a religion, a thought that tells us that we have to suffer in order to achieve something, or that we have to be suffering in greed and in pain, remember that is not a thought, a belief, a religion, a teaching, or whatever of light. It doesn't belong to the lightness. It belongs to the black side. Okay, thank you, Natasha. And so when we are on the right path, we might be challenged. That does happen. But things somehow are smooth and easy because, as I told you, in my case, just think, things happen, things flow, and you just keep going, and things start to work, and it's sort of a magic. So, when we are in the sixth mirror, we betrayed ourselves. And when things keep happening the same way around, when the same patterns happens and recur in our life, it's because we haven't changed inside. We might try to change here, but the problem is we have to change here. We have to feel ourselves, what is right for ourselves. That means we have to get out of the expectation. We have to get out of our fears. We have to get out of the fear of not being accepted, the fear of not being wanted, the fear of being alone. When, as I say many times, our soul is the most egotic part that we have. Why? Because it just thinks to itself. Our soul thinks only to reach its goal. It doesn't care about what the others might say or think. It is very focused, and it just goes straight forward to the goal. Okay? And that happens when we collect ourselves, we put ourselves together, and we just feel our soul. We're deeply connected with our soul, and we let our soul out. It will work for us, and that will be wonderful, wonderful. So we have to be very, very careful to really understand what our soul says, the real truth. We hear it all the time, or we might not be listening to it. Okay? So, would you please let me know if that was clear to you, so we can move on and go to the last mirror, the sixth mirror. Or maybe you have some questions or something. Nobody says anything. So here we say no answer, good answer. Okay. So if that was clear enough, we go on and we move to the sixth mirror, which is called the mirror of people who are envious, people that always feel like they are missing something. You know, I just told you this, but actually the title of the seventh mirror is Everything is Perfect. So, what I just said might seem a contradiction to you. And you're right. If everything is perfect, why should I feel that I miss something? That is because we keep comparing ourselves to the outside and to the others. Oh, Natasha. Let's see what Natasha says. I understand you. I look at my life. I have seen the same circle during the years. Now I have understood it and changed my thinking about it and really changed it. Oh, I'm glad. I'm very glad, Natasha. Must have been hard and very painful, I think, but it was worth it, wasn't it? I'm very happy. Thanks for sharing. Let's get back to the seventh mirror. As I said, we keep comparing ourselves to the outside, and we were also taught by our culture, by our education, that we're always missing something. We always lack of something. So we see what we're lacking of into the other people. We keep saying, oh, I would like to have the patience that Maria has, or I'd like to be as nice as Alexandra is. We keep seeing into the others what we think we're missing. And as long as we feel that we don't have those attitudes, those qualities, those resources, we think we will not be happy until we gain them, until we win them. And this is really awful for our growth, for our evolution. We will never be happy because we think that only when we will have them, then we might deserve to be happy, might deserve to be happy. This is also due to our culture, to what has been taught to us. You know, I think in English also, in English too, we say that we are half an apple and we need to find the other half. We say it mostly for our partners. As long as we think of ourselves as half an apple, so as incomplete, we are keeping to forget the God inside us. God is one and a whole. He's not missing out of anything. He doesn't miss anything. He's perfect. So actually, we are dishonest towards ourselves because we are not honoring the God within ourselves. We don't see the God in ourselves. We keep seeing that we are lacking something. And that happens because we have been taught that in our life we have to be somehow admired. We have to be a point of reference for the others. And in order to do that, we have to have an outstanding quality or more than one. And if we don't get to be admired, if we don't get to be a point of reference, then we miss the point. That is so wrong. That is so misunderstood, actually. Because that doesn't allow us to be happy. And as I said before, any type of thinking that teaches that we can be happy just because of the way we are is not a belief, a thought, a religion of light. It doesn't belong to the light. It belongs to darkness. We are here to be happy, to achieve happiness, and anything we do towards that is the correct thing to do. Anything somehow holding back from that is not good for us. There are many things that have been taught to us as good things to be followed and honored that actually keep holding back from our evolution and from projecting the project of our life and of our soul into action. They keep hindering our soul project. So the seventh mirror says, as long as you will be jealous of or envious of the others, you won't be able to be yourself, to consider yourself as a whole. We're all different. We all have different virtues, all different qualities, but you've been given what you need to fulfill your goal. And this is what matters. And you need to see that. You need that. You might not have a quality, but you have another one. What you have might be something that other people don't have. Also, because this way we always feel uncomfortable in life with ourselves, with the others. We are always in a competition. We always feel in a race, in a challenge, in order not to become better, but in order to gain something, to win something from the others, or that the others have and that we don't. Is that clear? Could I make myself understood? Was that understandable? Let's see if someone is going to let me know what you think, because I want to read you a story that tells very well when we think we are missing of something and actually we don't need it. So before reading you the story, I would like to know if the explanation was clear enough. Let's see if somebody's going to answer to me. I hope you are enjoying this journey. This is the last time we speak about the Essenes mirrors. They are so precise, so accurate. They are so useful, actually, to understand our situations in life, that we might face. Thank God we do not face more than 1 or 2 mirrors at the time. Otherwise, we couldn't stand it. Okay, Natasha, thank you. Thank you very much. So it's time to read a story, to really let you know and explain you much better with lots of details what the 7 meters stands for. Once upon a time, there was a king. I'm translating from Italian, okay? And he was very, very sad. But he used to have a servant that was very happy instead. Every morning he would wake up the king, bring him breakfast, sing him very happy songs. He always been smiling. And he looked very comfortable and happy in life. So one day, the king asked him, "What's your secret?" And he said, "What secret, my sir? The secret of your happiness. I have no secrets. Don't lie to me, otherwise I'll cut your head off. Don't lie to me. I'm not doing that, my sir. Really, Majesty, I have no secrets. Then why are you always so happy and cheerful? I do not have any reason to be sad. Your Majesty, let me serve you. With my wife and my sons, I live in a house that you assign me. You give me food, you give me clothes, sometimes you give me a prize, and so we can do some extra with it. So why shouldn't I be happy?" Then the king started to be very mad, and he started to say, if you're not going to tell me your real secret, I will behead you right now. Nobody can be happy for the reason you just said, you just listed. But sir, I swear there is no secret. I just want to serve you. I'm not hiding any truth from you. Okay, just go away before I call the executioner. The servant smiled, bended, and left the room. The king was very, very mad. He really couldn't find out why his servant was so happy. So he went through the courtesans and looked for the wisest one and started to speak about him. "Why do you think that man is so happy?" "My Majesty, the thing is that he's out of the game." "Out of the game? What do you mean?" "He's out of the game, and that's why he's happy." "Yes, that's the reason. That's the reason why he isn't unhappy, actually, sir." Let's see if I understood that correctly. You said that he's out of the game. Yes. And how did he got out of it? "Sir, he's never gotten into the game." "What are you talking about?" "I will show you, my Majesty. If you want to follow me, I will show you how he will enter the game by himself. But won't he understand that he's going to become a very unhappy person?" "Yes, sir. He will get to know that. Then he won't get in. He won't be able to avoid it." So you say that he will anyway get into the game, although acknowledging he won't be as happy as before? "Yes, sir. This is what I'm saying." "Are you ready, sir, to leave such a servant just for this trial?" "Yes, I am." "Okay, so tonight I'll come here I'll pick you up, please get ready a little bag with 99 golden coins. He did. And then the servant arrived, the wisest man arrived and brought the king just in front of the house of the servant. He put the bag with the money in front of the house, knocked on the door, and when the servant opened the door, the king and the wise man hid themselves in order just to look at his actions. He collected the little bag, went inside the house, and he also started immediately to have a chill along his back because he could hear the sound of the money inside the bag. He opened up the little bag and started to count all the money. He had never touched one of those golden coins. So he was like a boy, a child, in a game park. He started to count all the coins, and when he got to 99, he started to look around to understand where the missing one was. He got very mad because he couldn't find it. And he started to think how he could collect the one missing coin in order to have 100 of coins. He thought of how he could work some extra hours in order to have an extra money. He started to think of what he could give out from a house and get money for, what he could sell for that in order to have money. And thinking all the time about this, he started to serve the king not as cheerful as before, not as happy as he was. He became so annoyed and so grieved in his attitude that one day the king asked him, "Why are you so upset? Why do you have such a grief?" And he mismannered and answered to the king, "There's nothing bothering me, nothing." "Well," the king said, "until not long ago you used to be cheerful, to sing, to laugh, and to smile." And the servant said, "So, am I not doing what am I supposed to do? I serve you, I do what I'm supposed to, so what do you want from me?" No longer passed, no long time, since the king wanted to get rid of the servant because it wasn't anymore a pleasure to be into his company, because he was always so unhappy. I hope that this little story can help you understand what we are doing with ourselves. We have our 99 coins and we are looking for the missing one. Maybe there is not a missing one. Maybe we just have 99 coins and that's what we are supposed to have. As long as we look for what we are missing, we can consider what we have, and we are not going to be happy. Keep comparing ourselves to the others is not a way to get out of the game. We all are in the game. None of us is very happy of himself or herself. None of us. We always think we have to improve, we have to make something different in order to be happy. And this is all brain work. It's not the heart. The heart, which is the connection to our soul, just does. Just focus on actions. And doesn't make a balance between what I have and what I'm missing. It just goes towards what it needs to achieve. When we do that, we don't care about what we are missing, because we are actually exploiting the 99 coins. All we have to go straight towards our purpose. And then we achieve it. We are using all our resources. If we focus on the one missing coin, on the one missing virtue, we are not using the 99 coins. We are not using what we have to achieve our purpose. Okay, so I hope this was clear. And the 7 Essence mirrors are really an instrument, a very important instrument that can help us understand how we are building the map of our life. And they really can help us to change it, to reach and be our soul. Our soul is within us, and we have to feel it and become it. We have to let it express. We will be having things around us, and we will be in a well-being situation, thoroughly speaking, energetically, physically, mentally, psychologically, only when we will feel we are one and the whole, that we are the God within ourselves. Then we take over our responsibilities for what we face. No one betrayed us. We might betray ourselves. We are the reasons of what happened. So we have to ask, what have I done to become into this situation? Nothing happens to be a punishment. Everything happens to be a lesson. Sometimes we go through very, very hard lessons. I understand that during those times we do not want anyone to say what I just said. It is too painful. But when we get out of them, we can see what sort of structure we managed to set up that led us to that situation. And we can see what we can change. I'm sure that if we all look backward to our past, we see many times, many difficult times, and we can clearly see that we went through them because we were acting in a certain way. And we can see and state that now many things have changed within ourselves. Not in our brain, but in our deepest part of ourselves. The 7 Essence mirrors were part of the initiatory journey that all the Essenes had to go through in order to become what they were, the Essenes. You know that very little has been known about them. Essenes were communities that lived around the Dead Sea, small communities that stayed a lot by themselves. They didn't have a social life out of their communities. They used to dress completely in white, and they went through this initiatory journey, not just of the 7 mirrors, but 7 mirrors is part of the journey they had to go through, in order to use energy in a perfect way. The Essenes used to be telepathic, they had telepathy, they were self-healing, they used teletransportation. They did all those things. They were masters in the use of the energies, and that is the reason why they used to stay by themselves, because they knew that they might be lived as a threat because of their masterships, and that happens. The Romans tried to kill all of them, saying that they were rebellious, that they wanted to set up riots against the Romans themselves. While they were very, very peaceful, and they just wanted to continue their life the way they did. Jesus was an Essene, and the difference between him and the rest of the Essenes is that he stepped out of his community. In fact, you know that all we know about about Jesus belongs to his childhood. We know something about him up to the age of 6-7 years, and then we know nothing until he turned 30, and we know about his life between 30 and 33, when he stepped out of the community. Between 6 and 30, he had to go through the initiatory path, initiatory item, the initiatory journey of the Essenes, in order to be able what he did outside. So all the miracles he did were things that all the Essenes were able to do. But all the other Essenes stayed by themselves. And the Essenes used to master the energies, and that is something that we all can do. We have actually to learn how to do it back, but that is not something that only some people can do. We all can become masters in the use of the energies, as long as we become the one and the whole. We believe in the God within ourselves. We believe that limitations are only in the minds, but they're not in the heart. When we will be able to be in that situation, we will be ready to go through a path that will help us to develop our energies that way too. Natasha says nothing happens to be a punishment but a lesson. We often forget this. Yes, we do. We complain, we scream against the world, against the others when that happens. We feel that it has been unfair towards us. And so, okay, I'm done with this journey through the 7 Essenes mirrors. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for being here with me until the end. I hope it has been somehow useful to you. And I'll be back here in English next Tuesday as usual. Thanks for following. And if you have the chance to read something about the Essenes mirrors and to follow the exercises that actually we should do afterwards, and to understand that you're living one or two of the Essenes mirrors in your life, to give them the correct interpretations and to give them the right corrections, you will surely have some benefits from it. Thank you very much, and good evening to everybody. Bye-bye.